A good Wednesday afternoon to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. Looking at the bigger picture here, we have a heat ridge that's way out to the west. We're showing dew points currently right now. And a couple things to note, just how dry it is out west with the very low dew points and kind of a par for the course. Those dew point temperatures, of course, you get into the plains, and that's where they're much higher, despite this area of higher pressure and the winds. But we do have this kind of open Gulf of Mexico flow that goes up into parts of the Great Lakes. Across Canada, different story. It's very dry, and also it's cooled down as we've seen progressive frontal systems work on through. We do have this area of higher pressure that's going to be kind of breaking off and building into the region. It's going to bring us some pretty fabulous weather. It's also going to put the guard on any of these tropical cyclones out over the middle Atlantic and keep those away, as well as bring us basically several days. We're looking at dry weather right into Sunday, and beyond that, Monday even looks like we'll just see a few scattered rain showers, and mainly in northern areas as it looks right now. No thunderstorms threats this period. Looking pretty good for the utilities. Good time to take off if you were to have that idea. And as you can see here, the Atlantic is rather active. We have several different tropical easterly waves. This is one working in off of West Africa. And it's going to be taking a track and curving and recurving out to sea. This is Hurricane Earl. Forecast or projected to get into Category 3, maybe even Category 4 territory as it passes just a little bit southeast of Bermuda. You can see the distance here is not too far away. And way up in the northern part of the Atlantic, we still have a Hurricane Danielle, and it's forecast to kind of do a loop-de-loop and then take a track toward Portugal, maybe as a depression at some point way down the road. That looks like it's going to be sometime next week. And one of the more interesting features right now, we have Hurricane K. K is a Category 2 storm. It's going to eventually encounter colder waters off the western Mexican coast. And then off Southern California, not that far really from San Diego, we're looking at a potential tropical storm K as it begins to fall apart and kind of die its death off the California coast. This is going to bring a major influx of monsoonal moisture up the western Mexican coast, and that's going to work into the desert southwest, including southern parts of California. Looking at the incrementals of computer modeling, European on the left-hand side, GFS ensemble on the right-hand side. Higher resolution, of course, in the deterministic models than what we see here for the GFS ensemble, but you get the picture. And note, this is K, and then we got Earl here. So running the computer model, this is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And just a little bit of moisture left over, mostly feedback issue, but conditions are drying on out, and we're looking at this area of higher pressure building in, and it's really going to rule the roost. Not expecting any precipitation during the day tomorrow, Thursday. The high pressure system becomes reinforced roughly, it looks like, during the morning hours on Friday. And you can see what's left of K. I'm sorry, that would be Earl. That's K. And you can see it's nearing the San Diego coast, not too far away. Again, this is the deterministic. This is the ensemble for the GFS side. High pressure and control, really no issues, and this is one of the outlooks that is one of the easier outlooks, simply because we really have no weather to worry about, thanks to an area of higher pressure elongated, kind of locked in by these tropical systems, and this big dome of higher pressure and kind of a trough. Everything's kind of in a stable weather pattern currently right now. It does look like once we get into beyond this coming weekend, this area of higher pressure reinforcing right there, and then it starts to weaken and begins to kind of lose its strength just about the time we start to gather more moisture from this cutoff low that will have developed, and it's going to start to pick up Gulf of Mexico moisture and begin to push it in. This will be basically starting to work in along about just a little bit of shower and thunder, maybe not thunderstorms, but showers on Monday, and then the bulk of this moisture will start to kind of work in with that cutoff low just beyond our period here, the outlook period, for basically Tuesday, and looking at maybe Wednesday, maybe even into the day on Thursday. It looks like we start to dry things out by Thursday of next week. These are just trace elements, nothing to worry about here. That's the 3-hourly QPF with the GFS ensemble centered on the Montpelier grid. This is the maximum QPF, and again, it's going to be beyond our outlook period. We'll start to see some moisture influx at that point in time, working in out of the Ohio Valley and the Appalachians. Looking at precipitable water, this is the way it looks here. Generally about par for the course, a little bit of an uptick later on down the road. In terms of Cape, we start to see a little more convective issues here, but overlaying shear, this is beyond the period. We're looking at around 25 to 30 knots, not a big deal. This is, of course, total QPF, the total rainfall over the course of the next 7 days, ending on through 12Z on Wednesday, the 14th of September. So beyond the outlook period by a couple of days. And with that, we're looking at generally about a ½ inch to a ¼ of an inch of total rainfall. The interesting thing here is, of course, up the west Mexico side of Baja, some flooding rainfall with the monsoonal and tropical moisture associated with Hurricane K working its way just off the San Diego coast is going to supply a lot of water. We're talking about a ½ inch there. That's 1 inch amounts, 1.5, 2 inch amounts. So areas around the west of the Imperial Valley between there and San Diego, the coastal range mountains south of San Jacinto Range and toward El Centro, they're going to get flooded out here with potential mudslides and all sorts of fun and games in parts of Mexico. And anomalous temperatures look like this, basically either running neutral or a little bit cooler than normal, but things are going to warm up. 5-day Moss, next 5 days of higher temperatures weighted, running about 9 degrees, almost 12 degrees further up to the north, and 3 days later, about the same, 9 degrees, 6 degrees, a little bit further to the south. We have Earl in progress, and as a pretty good hurricane, as is Danielle, way up in the northern cooler waters. We have another easterly wave formation, about a 60% chance over the next 48 hours. Earl, Danielle, and then that first easterly wave, and then a second easterly wave, about a 30% chance of cyclone formation over the next 5 days. The Weather Nerds tropical cyclone ensemble from the European looks like this, and as we run the computer models over time. Now note the wind speeds here. You can see that Earl is pretty serious, but again, it's just a little bit southeast of Bermuda. Pretty tight track. I have a lot of confidence in that. And then we have that next system that's going to be forming, and then a West African easterly wave south of the Cape Verde Islands. And you can see they're all basically turning out to sea. We'll have to watch this one going out 240 hours or 10 days. We'll be watching, this will be along about Saturday the 17th of September. We might see something starting to work its way up the coast. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights, thanks for watching.